All right, welcome back to math class. We are moving away from line plots, and if you were in my class, you would have heard everyone say, thank goodness. Line plots are really hard. So you've seen them, you've been exposed to them, but we are not going to dwell on them. So today, we are on page 334 in your instruction book. Please follow with us. And this is all about data, okay? And basically, data is just numbers. Numbers about something. I need someone to read this little part about Marissa up here. So her name is Marissa. Josiah, nice and loud.
Marissa wants to answer the question, how many commercial breaks in a 30-minute television show? She observed some television shows and recorded the number of commercial breaks for each show.
You don't have to read all those.
Okay.
Just skip down.
How can Marissa represent the data? How can the data display be used to draw conclusions about the data?
Okay, so first let's just look. She's got all these different numbers. We need to at least know why those numbers exist. So she observed some different television shows, and for each show, she counted the number of commercial breaks in a half hour. So this 3 means in that one show she watched for a half hour, there were 3 commercial breaks. Here's a different show, had 3 commercial breaks. This show, Lucky Duck, only had 2 commercial breaks. That one had 1. That one had 4. So she watched a lot of TV and just kept track how many commercial breaks, okay? So this is her data. Is that kind of hard to read and make sense of? Yeah. Okay, that is why we make charts, we make graphs, we make things like a table. All of these things help you make sense of data, and that's what we're working on the next 2 days. Noah?
She was watching TV for 7 hours and 30 minutes.
Did you count up how many?
Yes, that's not okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, we don't know how often. Maybe she watched 1 show a day and kept track. But you were right, that's too much TV. All right, now here's one way to look at it. Everyone look at your chart. I want you to look at the chart, and I want you to tell me what it means. You look at the chart, study it. You tell me what that chart means. I'm not going to tell you until people are actually looking with their eyeballs at the chart. Try to make sense of it. Read the topics at the top, your headings, read your numbers. What does that mean? Hayden, what do you think it means?
It's how much commercial breaks and how the number of television shows.
Absolutely. So, any shows with 1 commercial break, she counted how many were there? There were only 2. So if I look up there at my ones, I only have 2 number ones. So that's why she put a 2 right there. Then she said, well, how many shows have 2 commercial breaks? Well, we can go up here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shows had 2 commercial breaks. And so on. I didn't even notice that 5. 1 show had 5 commercial breaks. I don't know if I'd want to watch that show. Okay. So any questions on how this table shows us her data? Quentin?
On 2 of them, it's like, they just got it split in half.
That's true. That's true. Josiah?
And it's also going from least to greatest. And also, I think she's doing this just so she can watch TV as homework.
Oh, maybe she's like, if I make this my survey question, I can watch TV to take my data. She may be very clever.
I'm going to do that.
All right, I'm going to scroll down and we can see a different way we can model our
I
data.
like the donkey thing.
Yeah. So instead of using a table, we could use a bar graph. Now, you've all seen bar graphs before, probably starting in 1st grade, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, in its most basic definition, what's a bar graph? What is a bar graph? Abby?
A bar graph is like for example, how many people voted on something for.
Okay. So, her example, we're back at the commercials thing. So, across the bottom, she just wrote number of commercial breaks. So, we have some shows with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then up the top, it says the number of television shows. So 2 television shows had 1 commercial break. 4 television shows had 2 commercial breaks. How does the graph help us make sense of the data maybe better than just the table? What part of it? And think about, your teacher's very visual. I draw a lot of pictures. Why do you think this graph helps us make sense of this better? Cadence?
It doesn't have a bunch of random numbers.
Okay, it's not just a list of random numbers, which can sometimes confuse us. Zoe? Lost your thought? Peyton, what are you thinking?
It shows us how much bars there are and how much it goes up to.
Okay. Angie, you want to add to that?
It just shows us how many votes and how many.
Whatever we're counting, right?
Another thing, if we do our survey and we do that chart, how do you know how many votes you'll get? If you
Well, I'm going to walk you through that process, okay? So we're not going to start anything about that. Kids at home, she just asked a question about a survey. We will be writing survey questions later this week and making our own charts from data. For now, we're just talking about this data, okay? So for me, I guess, the one thing that helps, I can visually see which one's the tallest and which one's the shortest. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
So right away I look. If I want to know what's the most common amount of commercials, it's going to be 3 per show, right? That column is the biggest. There are more TV shows with 3 commercial breaks than any of my other numbers. I can also see that 5 commercial breaks, that's rare. It only happened once, which is probably good. That's too many commercials.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a bar graph, and that was a table, right? Let's keep on scrolling. You guys can turn your head to the next page to answer some questions. Okay. Now, we are going to make a line plot, but there's no fractions. No fractions. So we're back to the easy ones that you started probably in 2nd grade, okay? So first of all, I need someone to read. I'll read Connect It, and then I'll have someone read number 16. Abby, you're going to read 16 when I'm done at the top. Connect It. Now you will solve the problem on the previous page by creating and analyzing a line plot of the data. Analyzing just means you're looking at it and making sense of it, okay? So number 16, go for it, Abby.
A line plot is another way to represent a set of data. How many x's can you draw on a line plot of Melissa's data?
All right, remember yesterday, each X is one thing. So how many numbers did she have in her list? You guys are going to have to count. Go ahead and count. How many X's will we need total for Marissa's data? So that long list of numbers, you guys have to count them for me. Marissa's numbers on the first page that we went over. Here's all her data points. So how many X's, if we made a line plot, how many numbers does she have in that long list? Josiah?
15.
15. Anyone else that counted get the same?
Mm-hmm.
Abby did? Noah?
What are we counting?
In the yellow box on the previous page, that long strand of numbers that she used to put into her table. Quentin, you got 15?
I got 15.
I'm going to count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I think 15 is our confirmed number. So, anyone not sure where we found that? We just counted all her numbers of commercials, right? So there were 15 different numbers she wrote down. So she will need 15 X's. So remember, each X goes with one number. Okay, now the next question wants us to think about how we're going to label the bottom of our number line. What is the smallest number in her data set? So look through the numbers. You might remember from the graph. We only have 5 numbers. What's our smallest number? Don't make this too hard. You're just looking through her list. What digit is the smallest? Okay, next.
1.
A 1. So we have to include a 1. Okay. Then what? Noah?
It's 5.
5's the biggest. Do we have a 2, 3, and a 4 in between?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know that 5's the biggest. So we'll need to include all those numbers on our number line. Why don't we need to go bigger than 5? Hayden?
Because there wasn't anything bigger than 5.
There wasn't. If she had found a TV show that had 6 commercial breaks, which would be, whoa, we would have to add a 6. Okay, but she didn't. Okay, last, on 18, look at the bar graph. On Model It, what is an appropriate title for the line plot? What is an appropriate title for the number line? What's an appropriate title for the line plot? What do you guys think?
What do they mean by title?
You know what? I'm going to go back to the line plot we looked at yesterday, one that's completely finished so you can see what they do.
Well, I know the.
Bear with me as I scroll backwards. Well, I have to go all the way back to a different lesson. Okay. Let me blow it up a little bit. So on this line block, the title would be what? Josiah?
Earthworm lengths.
Okay, earthworm lengths. Each of her X's is the length of one earthworm, right? Okay, so that was the title she had chosen. And then across the bottom, what did she put down here? Angie?
Length and inches.
Yeah, we need to know what she's measuring and in what unit, okay? So when we switch back to our TV thing, what type of a title do you think we could put at the top? If each X represents the amount of commercials. Caden?
How much commercials is in each, like, commercials?
Commercial breaks in a TV show. Okay, that would work. And then at the bottom, what would be our label of what our numbers 1 through 5 would be at the bottom? Let me actually switch back because that's kind of hard to answer until we're on the right screen. So let that soak into your head. And we will come up with our own. We are on this one. Oh, gotta try to line that up again. Thank you for your patience. Close enough. Okay. So instead of writing it all up here, let's go ahead and just make the line plot and we'll give it a title and a label for the bottom on there. So when you make a line plot, what do you think is step 1? Pretty easy. Cadence? A square?
No, a box.
We can just do a line. Make it even easier than that, okay? So leave some space for your X's. So just draw a line. Stick with me. Draw your line. All right, now we know one endpoint will be a certain number. We know the other endpoint will be a certain number. What's my lower end number? We already wrote them down, the 5 numbers we have to include. So what goes first? Angie? A 1. So this is going to be a 1. We know this is going to be a 5. So we need 2, 3, and 4 somewhere in the middle. I try to space them as evenly as I can. Just do your best. Now, what do those numbers across the bottom mean? Because that's what we need to write down here. We need to tell whoever reads our graph, what is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Hayden?
The number of television shows, like the television.
It's not the number of shows, it's the number of what?
Commercial breaks.
The number of commercial breaks. So we do need to write that down here. Number of commercial breaks. Just squeeze it in. And I'll let you put COM period for commercial. Number of commercial breaks. That is what those 5 mean. All right, now let's go ahead and put our X's on before we worry about our title. So you're all going to have to help me. I don't have the chart up here. How many shows have 1 commercial break? Abby?
None.
No shows have 1 commercial break?
Yeah, there's 2.
Okay, Josiah?
2.
2. So if you're looking through that list of numbers, we should see the number 1 2 times. Thumbs up if you see that and if you agree. I don't have my numbers. Angie? Question? Okay, did you see there are 2 number 1s in that list?
Which list? This one?
I don't have it on my paper. It's the yellow, the top problem that we're doing all of our work for. There's a long list of the numbers of commercial breaks. Okay, so I need everyone in here to look at the list. Madeline, you looking? Look at the list. We need to all be able to see that there are 2 number 1s on that list. All right, friends at home, I'm going to pause you a minute. All right, so we do see 2 1s. So how many X's do I put above my 1?
They're still paused.
2. Each X represents 1 show that had 1 commercial break. All right, now returning to that long list of numbers, we're going to keep heading over there. How many shows had 2 commercial breaks throughout the show? This is a question every single one of you can answer, and I might call a victim. So Madeline, how many shows had 2 commercial breaks?
How many shows?
Can you put that paper to the side, please, also? Thank you.
2.
2. Agreement? Thumbs up?
I already know the...
Hold on. If you disagree, you got to raise your hand or show me a different thumb.
How many number 1s?
Guys, I just asked how many number 2s. Number 1s are already on the graph. You weren't listening this morning. All right. Josiah disagrees. How many number 2s do you see on the list?
I see 3.
He sees 3. Dylan?
I see 4.
You see 4.
I see 4.
Okay, I'm going to have to count. Okay? When you look at that list of numbers, you physically take your finger, go count the numbers. 1, wait, we're counting 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I just counted my 2s. There are 4 2s. This is not hard. Okay, the next thing. What do we have to count next? Which digit? Zoe?
3.
Right, how many 3s did we have on our list? Okay, every single one of you should know the answer when I call you. Quentin, how many 3s are on the list?
There are 4 3s.
All right, thumbs up if you agree. All right, I've got discrepancies. Dylan, how many 3s are on the list?
6.
6. Thumbs up if we agree. Okay, everyone should be counting every single time, okay? When I call you is not the time to start counting. So you said 6?
Yeah.
All right, so we need 6 X's. Whoa. All right, so far that's definitely the largest group. Now we count how many digits of 4 we have. So you just read through your list. How many 4s do you see? Zoe?
2.
2. Thumbs up if you agree. All right, I got a lot of thumbs up. Thank you. We're all starting to count with me. Last number. How many 5s are on the list? And if you've been paying attention, we've already talked about this. Kaden?
1.
Just 1. Okay, so that's a basic line plot. You can all handle that, okay? The reason it was really hard yesterday is because we had fractions. We had 8ths, we had quarters, and we had halves. That added a lot of confusion to the bottom. But this is a basic line plot. Any questions on how I found how many X's to make or how I figured out the numbers to put across the bottom? Hayden?
Why are things so hard and things are so easy sometimes?
Well, things are different for everyone. We all learn things differently. But I would say the past few weeks, I know people are getting kind of tired of school and ready to get to summer. I can tell which students are doing that, okay? Those of you participating, I'm sure you're getting this very well, okay? So for some people, Hayden, it's a lack of effort. For other people, it's just kind of confusing. Okay, I'm going to scroll down so we can work on number 20. Actually, I'm not because we need my graph. Okay, so number 20, use your line plot to analyze the data. Remember, analyze just means check it out, okay? See what's going on. What is the most common number of commercial breaks during a 30-minute television show? Abby?
No, 3.
3. Because we had the most X's on the 3. So the most common number would be 3 commercial breaks. You can abbreviate that if you'd like. And how do you use the line plot to find that value? Someone that thinks they can explain that for me. Noah?
We counted the 3s in the chart they gave us.
Okay. So, well, we made our own chart, right? They're asking about this. How did we find how many 3s we had from our chart?
Oh, we counted the X's.
Okay, we found the 3 along the bottom, and we counted how many X's were above the 3. We counted how many X's were above the 3. hopefully everyone was able to copy that down. All right, friends at home, do your best on your practice. We will see you soon.